What's up, guys? It's Gabe. Welcome back to the channel. New Frontier Business, newfrontierbusiness.com. Website has been relaunched. I got a new blog post up there right now and dropped a new video this past Wednesday on ways you can grow your store in 2021. If you guys haven't checked that out, it is up. And yeah, I got a lot of new content coming. First and foremost, if you love these videos and you appreciate information like this and you too are trying to get started on eBay, hit that like button for me. It helps me in the YouTube algorithm, as well as enabling notifications so you never miss an episode. Now, one of the questions I get a lot is, how do I have time to hit all these thrift stores? So, in other words, how to efficiently process your inventory through a thrift store and get in and out in a timely manner. Because you can end up in the same thrift store for 3 or 4 hours if you're not careful. So, we're going to talk about how you do that, and that enables you to hit more stores in one day and focus the rest of your week on listing items and etc. So, that's what we're going to touch on. First and foremost, know what you are looking for. You should know this well before you ever go in. Like, for example, I'm going to use clothing as an example because that's one of the only things I really do in terms of sourcing in thrift stores. Most of my other stuff is through wholesale buying and selling on my other accounts. That's my main source of income on eBay. However, I do source clothing through thrift stores as well as discount stores. But thrift stores and discount retail stores work the same. You need to know what you're looking for going in. So I do this based primarily upon season. I break that down first, and then I want to know what brands I'm looking for going in and what styles. So this is the way I focus my strategy going in. So say the colder months are here, I know that I'm focusing on sweaters, jackets, and jeans. And that's where I'm going to start every time I go into a thrift store. I'm also going to look for bigger sizes first, and then I'm going to work my way down because those sell a lot better for me. So knowing what you're looking for when you go into a thrift store is key. You have to know what you're in there to buy to sell on eBay. Otherwise, you're going to spend forever just randomly looking around. Second, know where to start. That's what I was just talking about. I know what I'm looking for primarily, and I'm going to pick out where I'm going to start. So if jeans are what sells for me the most, I'm going to start in jeans. This makes the most sense. I'm going to start looking at sizes 42 and working my way down because these sell the best for me on eBay. If you do not have this type of strategy in mind when you go into a thrift store, it's one of the most common beginner mistakes because this will cost you a lot of time just wandering around the thrift store looking. And then next thing you know, you've only hit 2 stores in a full day of sourcing. And say your town has 9 stores. Well, then look at all the product you left out there. Now you have to go try to look for more items the next day and the next day. And this is how people end up not listing and just sourcing. That is how a death pile, as they love to call it, is created. If you put all of your time into sourcing and you don't put your time into listing, your business is dead from the beginning. Next is know the ROI range that you are looking to hit for your items before you ever even go into the store. This way you know what you need to pay and what's too expensive. If you go into a store and you're like, well, I can pay up to $6 because this will be my ROI and this is worth it for me to sell, then you're on the right track. Whereas if you go in and you just randomly find an item and then you have to stumble around, look the item up, how much can I pay for it? Oh, well, $10 is this, and next thing you know, you're willing to take something that cuts into your ROI. Have a predetermined ROI before you ever even go into the store. This way you pick up an item, you look at the price tag, and you say, well, that's too much. And it's just the way sourcing goes. I mean, sometimes you're going to find great items that you could sell, but the thrift store also knows the value of the item. And I mean, that sucks sometimes, but it's going to happen. You're going to find a pair of, 7 for All Mankind men's jeans or silver jeans that the thrift store is going to say, hey, we want $20 for this item. There's no money in that for you. Not really. By the time you pay eBay fees, shipping, so forth, there's just not a lot of meat left on the bone for you there. So you have to pass. That's the nature of the beast. It's just what you have to do. Next, though, what we are talking about is look for the color tags. So say that item is $10, but your thrift store has purple tags on sale today, 50% off. Well, now all of a sudden that item's only $5. Your ROI looks a lot better. You maybe could afford to invest into that item. If I can get a pair of silver jeans for men that are $10, I'm going to pick those up because that is worth my time. That is worth my investment on the item. I know that I'm going to return $15 on the item, at least 12 to $15, based on condition, after fees and shipping. I can pull that. That's worth getting for me. So in the end, and if you have a lister, you have to take all of these into consideration as well. What is your overhead expense of the item? You do have to take all of that into consideration. If you're paying a lister as opposed to you listing yourself, obviously your ROI is automatically lower. So your overhead is going to be up to you to determine before you go in looking for these items. That's key. Know what you are paying for the item. Know what you can get in return. And then lastly, before you leave the thrift store, make a final scan of all of the items. Look for defects. In my case, and what I'm using as an example in clothing, look for stains, look for holes, look for tears, look for any kind of blemish. Does it smell bad? Does it smell like smoke? Is it covered in pet hair? These are important for clothing, but if you're buying things like figurines or anything like that, look for chips, look for, anything that could decrease the value of the item. You need to know that, and you need to make those final scans of the item before you leave the thrift store. They do have return policies typically for in-store credit, many of them, but in the end of how many people actually make the return? Very few. You have 7 days. You have 7-day window usually to make returns through most thrift stores. 2 weeks at the most. By the time the item sits in the corner of wherever you were going to list it before you found the defect, it just sits there. You never make the return, and before you know it, you're out that money. So scan the items before you leave the thrift store. And if you're doing things like clothes where you're buying a lot of them, simply take your basket into the back corner somewhere in the store and go over each item. Look at your jeans. Look them up and down. Do you see stains down the leg somewhere that you maybe missed when you first picked them up? Is there a hole in the crotch? This is one that a lot of people complain about. They miss these. Where there's tear in the back seam of the jeans. There's a lot of different things. Fraying around the ankles. I personally sell a lot of jeans with fraying around the ankles because that's not a factor in terms of me not selling those jeans. But there are a lot of things that are. Stains are. Holes in the wrong places. These are issues, and you should be able to see these before you leave the thrift store, and it's going to save you a lot of time. That's efficiency. So, and that's 5 tips on how you can efficiently process items in a thrift store so you are able to get in and out a lot quicker. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. I will be back next week with several more videos. I'm going to be trying to drop videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on this channel. So I appreciate all you guys checking it out. Like I said, I am back for good. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Enable notifications. That way you always see my videos. Check me out on Patreon where I'll be doing a lot of Q&As, a lot of brand videos. Anybody who knows me knows I'm extremely brand knowledgeable. So I'll be doing videos on Patreon every month where I break down my top 5 brands for that particular month. That includes the style, the price point, everything to do with the item. So every month you'll have a guide going in on what you should be looking for if you're buying and selling clothes. So I appreciate you guys. Like I said, go check out the website, newfrontierbusiness.com. New article up now. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Peace.